Hello everyone, this is Glargity here again, and I'm here with a new video. Today we're going to be talking about James Charles, but a few things before we get into that. One, I've just been vaccinated, so I'm very tired, and my arm hurts so much, and I just want to lie down and sleep, but instead I'm staying up all night to record this. Also, the disclaimer for this video is some of the accusations are mixed in with my own opinion. Sources will be linked down below, but take everything here with a grain of salt. I would really appreciate it if you did that. Alright, let's get into it. So just a recap on who James Charles is. So James Charles is a beauty influencer on YouTube who is undeniably talented. The talented got him in with companies like CoverGirl and Sephora, and he also knows his market well. So he was pretty wealthy even before he kind of moved into the more YouTube centralized drama and spheres. So that's how he kind of started out. James Charles rose to fame very quickly, started making waves, and got a lot of YouTubers' attention, including Jeffree Star, who befriended him and teamed up with Tati Westbrook and Shane Dawson to take down the competition being James in this case. And the video that Tati made threw a whole bunch of controversy at James Charles and threatened to end his career. I would go over those allegations, but since they are proven false, they don't really matter. So instead, I'm going to go over the fact that Tati Westbrook did this all over vitamins, apparently, because James wasn't brand loyal to her and only her. So being rich must be a trip, I bet. And that brings us up to 4 months ago. James was replaced as a host on Instant Influencer, a show that he co-founded on YouTube Premium, which made a lot of people confused since he was the main host and he had put a lot of stock into it. But then allegations started to bubble to the surface and it started making a bit more sense when people on Twitter started accusing him of messaging minors on Instagram. When screenshots of James Charles started coming out where he was messaging minors and sending explicit content to them, it made a lot of sense why people were kind of pulling up a bunch of controversy again. This time it was less easy to brush away. It's not something appropriate, to be sure, and I talked a lot about parasocial relationships in my Creep Show video, but really they can mean a lot to a lot of people. And when someone like James messages you and tells you he's interested in you, even if you're a minor, you're bound to fall victim to this kind of thing. And even if your relationship isn't personally strong, that parasocial relationship will make sure that it carries through. And that's also an issue a lot of people have covered. It's not just that these were high schoolers. These were James Charles's fans, people who trusted him to be an adult, and they fully took advantage of them. And the trust that they had with him built over a long career over YouTube and other brands. And that's what brought us to 3 months ago when his apology came out, on April Fool's Day. It's bad timing. He acknowledges it in the video, which has now been taken down. But just for the record, I feel like it's bad timing, and you should have at least waited a day or published it the day before April Fool's. But besides the awkward timing, he says he's sorry if you feel victimized, and also provides no proof and insists that it's just more rumors, like the ones that happened a couple years ago in the No More Lies video which preceded the Tati Westbrook controversy. He insists with no proof that these are allegations, they shouldn't be believed, and he's just going to silence the victims that have given proof, that have come forward, that have told people bravely that they were victimized, and he shoves it under the rug, which is appalling. And then he left for 3 months to work on himself. So yeah, that's where we are literally today, where I'm talking about it. Just a side note, it turns out that YouTube did demonetize his channel right after the controversy, and then he left for 3 months. So I don't know if that's related, but he is back, and he's back with a Get Ready With Me video, which I think is super insensitive, and he acknowledges that he thinks it might be insensitive, but again, that's not really an excuse. You can't just do a bad thing, say you're acknowledging that it is bad, but still do it. Like, if you acknowledge that it's bad and that's in your video, maybe toss out the whole video. But who cares what I think? You know, I'm under 1,000 subs and he's got more than 1 million, so really my opinion will not matter to him at all. But there is some points I want to go over in his new apology / get ready with me video that I want to go over very carefully, because I think it highlights everything I find wrong with James Charles's behavior. Let's start out with the elephant in the room. He's back. And he chose to come back 3 months later. He says he's been working on himself and that he's really excited to be back. It's a good place to start. He's going to get back into a routine. And first he wants to apologize because he acknowledges that coming back and trying to sweep things under the rug will not help. The issue is he never addresses what he did wrong. So you know that fun little thing I do where I tell you the entire context of what's going on before I get right into my issues with a specific YouTuber, like Creepshow or the Ace Family, where I just did that because it was important for you to understand the context and how severe the issue was. James doesn't do any of that. So as far as we know, he's being accused of stealing candy from a child instead of real, explicit misconduct with high schoolers, which is much more severe, very serious, and not to be taken lightly in a Get Ready With Me video. But something that I do want to say that James did right was he acknowledges that the last video seemed scripted, but unlike a lot of other YouTubers, I do not think that a scripted apology is a bad thing. If you really mean something and you want to get it right, it's important for you to go over it a lot. In your mind, write it down, figure out why you're sorry. Put it into words, and not just any words, very careful wording. You want to make sure that you don't offend anyone else while you're giving an apology, because the thing about apologies is people are the most sensitive when receiving them because they've already got a negative view of you, and when you come in with a bad apology, it makes you look more insincere. It makes it out to be a joke. So I do not think a scripted video is bad. He says it wasn't scripted, but it was sort of, because he went over it in his head a bunch, which I think just either come out and say, yeah, it was scripted, I wanted to get it right, or say, no, it wasn't scripted at all, I just made a mess of it, you know, like, and he calls it a miss, which, again, very insensitive. I don't know what's with this guy. Every single thing he says, it feels like he's trying to joke about it, but these aren't things that you joke about. You've affected people's lives, and they deserve an apology. Also in this new video, he mentions that the only thing he did wrong was not checking the age, which isn't even close to the issues that a lot of people have with this. It's not just that you didn't check the age, it's that you didn't check the age and then went on to explicitly message these minors, which is something that a lot of people just want you to acknowledge. Just acknowledge that it's a bad thing. Just give these people some validation that you know what you did was wrong and you will not do it again, James. This is the only thing people want from you. And instead, you're making apology video after apology video to try and dance around the subject. And nobody is buying it and nobody wants to either. This isn't something that you can just market away, dance around, or pretend didn't happen, no matter how much you want to. These people are affected, they're hurt, they're victimized. You need to acknowledge what they are feeling, and you need to apologize. Honestly, I'll believe he's sorry when I see it. But how he's acting, this is just more dirt to sweep under the rug. And I think the biggest issue here is that this is a very human problem of not wanting to change or admit guilt. But he's done something wrong. And I want his victims to know that even though I'm covering James, The people that matter are you. Some of you came forward to condemn him, and that's the bravest thing in the world. And I know most of them were young men as well, and that comes with its own complications and issues and people not believing or invalidating you. I understand that that's hard, but you did it anyway, and that's so important. I want you all to know that even though James isn't going to apologize for this, I am sorry that you were victimized in this way by a celebrity that you trusted and that you had this parasocial relationship with that made them, and that made James seem like the perfect celebrity for you. It must be absolutely terrible to feel this way. It should not diminish what you did to stand up to a YouTube celebrity or star. And this goes to anybody who's been victimized by anyone who has this high standing. Do not let them intimidate you. Shout and scream and kick and wail and never let them get away with what they've done. Pull it up. Grab screenshots. Grab anything you can and call them out. Call these people out. Because if you don't do it, nobody else will. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. Thank you everybody for watching, and if you could just like and subscribe, that would really help me out a lot. Sorry I got a little emotional at the end there, but have a good rest of your day, and please stay safe.